So hello friends, welcome back to our channel Adami Education. So like I told you 2 days ago that we are going to do biology ICSE question paper solving also, but since in 2020 the question paper did not get but in 2020 the question paper was not provided as the exam was only not held due to the pandemic. Therefore we are going to do 2019 question paper. Okay, so let us begin. Today we are going to do section 1, which consists of mostly MCQ based questions, and then tomorrow in the next live we are going to do section 2. All right, without wasting much time, let's begin. So our first question is, we have to name the following. So we have to give the biological terms. Okay, so our first question is the layer of the eyeball that provides nourishment to the eye. It is a very direct question from the chapter sense organs. The answer will be choroid. Okay, our next question is one gaseous compound which depletes the ozone layer. There is an example given in your book. It is from the chapter pollution. The answer will be CFC. You can either write CFC or you can write the full name, chlorofluorocarbons. Both of them will be correct. Okay. Now don't write carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. They cause global warming, or you can say that they are greenhouse gases, but they do not deplete the ozone layer. Okay, so if you write carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide as the answer, you will get 0. Our next question is the structure which connects the placenta and the fetus. Okay, so this is from the chapter reproduction. I hope you remember. So the answer will be amnion. The answer will be umbilical cord. I'm sorry. So it is the cord which helps in the transport of substances from the mother to the child and vice versa. So the answer will be umbilical cord. It connects the placenta and the fetus, and it is present, and it is also removed along with the child. Okay. Our next question is a pair of corresponding chromosomes of the same size and shape which is derived from each parent. So this is from the chapter inheritance. So our answer will be homologous chromosomes. As you know that these chromosomes have similar structures and they have same type of alleles, but having different characteristics. So each one is derived from each parent, one from the mother and one from the father, and we know that chromosomes are always present in the form of pairs, so the answer will be homologous chromosomes. Okay, now the next question is the compound formed when hemoglobin combines with carbon dioxide in blood. Don't make a mistake and write carboxyhemoglobin. Carboxyhemoglobin is a compound which is formed when carbon monoxide combines with hemoglobin. But when carbon dioxide combines with hemoglobin, we get carbaminohemoglobin. Very important. Don't get confused and make mistakes. Carbaminohemoglobin. Okay, so these are the answers of our question A. Now let's move on to question B. Correct and rewrite the statements by changing the biological term that is underlined for each statement. So as you can see that there are certain underlined words. You have to change them and write the correct word. The first question is not a part of the syllabus now, so I have cancelled it. Let us see question number 2. The protective sac which develops around the developing embryo is known as pericardium. So pericardium is not the answer. The answer will be amnion, because it protects the embryo from external shocks. It is like a covering around the embryo, right? So the pericardium is the covering for the heart. So don't make a mistake and change the statement not on the basis of something which is not underlined. Only these underlined words have to be changed. Our next question is, maintaining balance of the body and coordinating the muscular activities is done by the cerebrum. So the answer is not cerebrum, the answer is cerebellum. It is from the chapter nervous system. Cerebellum is associated with memory, intelligence, remembering things, all that. But cerebellum is essential for maintaining the muscular balance and also for coordinating our activities. So the answer will be cerebellum. Let's move on to the next question. The kidney is composed of a number of neurons. No, the answer is not neurons. Neuron is the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. But in case of the kidney, which is the part of the excretory system, the answer will be nephron. You can also write uriniferous tubules. Both the answers will be correct. Okay. Now our next question is, the part of the eye that can be donated from a clinically dead person is the retina. So you know that whenever a person dies, he or she can donate his or her eye to another person. So the entire eye is not transplanted, rather a part of the eye is transplanted, and that is not retina, that is the cornea. The cornea is actually transplanted from one person to another. The cornea is cut into numerous pieces and then it is transported to various types of a number of individuals. So the answer will be cornea. Don't get confused. Retina is the place where the image is forming, but the cornea is the place which can be transplanted into a different organism, into a different human. Okay. Now in question number C, we have to give suitable biological reasons for the following. So I have the answer out here. I'm just going to explain it along with the questions. Our first question is, the birth rate in India is very high. This is from the chapter population. So what is the reason for this? There are a number of reasons given in your book. You can write any of those. Like the reason can be illiteracy. People have no idea about how the human reproductive system works. As a result, the population goes on increasing. Another reason can be that people believe that children are a gift of God, and as a result they take no attention in termination of the pregnancy. That can be another reason. Also, people think that if there are more children, there will be more prosperity, more amount, more income. So that is another reason. Also, due to high infant mortality nowadays, due to very good development of medical science, children do not die easily during the infant age, which was not observed in the olden times. So that can be another reason. And also there can be so many other reasons, like a desire for a male child, lack of any recreation. Okay, so there are many reasons. You can write one or two of these. Our next question is, carbon monoxide is dangerous when inhaled. Alright, so what happens? Both carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide are very harmful for our body, because whenever they are combining with hemoglobin, they can form a very stable compound. For for combination of hemoglobin with carbon dioxide, we get carbaminohemoglobin, like I just told you. And in case when carbon monoxide combines with the hemoglobin, we get carboxyhemoglobin, and carboxyhemoglobin is a very stable compound, and as a result oxygen is not able to combine with hemoglobin, and hence our body muscles and other cells, they are completely cut off from oxygen supply. As a result, they start dying. So none of the tissues, not even our lungs, are getting enough amount of oxygen, and this can result in death. This is the reason it is always advised that whenever we are burning something, we should burn it in the open, not in a closed room, because in a closed room there is a very limited supply of oxygen, and as a result our hemoglobin can very easily combine with the carbon monoxide which is formed whenever we are burning any organic compound. We have studied about this a little bit in the chapter organic chemistry. So this is the reason. Our next question is that root hairs become flaccid and droop when excessive fertilizers are added to the moist soil around them. Not only fertilizer, even if you pour too much amount of pesticides or too much amount of insecticide, or maybe in order to kill weeds, we pour a large amount of salts around the soil. So all these will have the same reason. Let us see what is the reason. What happens whenever you are pouring some fertilizer around a plant? The solution around the root soil, around the root hair, becomes hypertonic in nature because of the excessive amount of the solute particles. So as a result, what happens? Due to the process of osmosis, water will move out from the root hair cells into the surrounding medium. So if water is moving out from the root hairs, obviously the root hairs will become flaccid, and eventually if it goes on for a long amount of time, they will end up dying. So it is very essential that whenever fertilizers are added to the soil, it should be added in moderation, not in very high amounts. Otherwise, this can lead to death of the plant. Another problem can occur if we are pouring too much pesticides or insecticides also. But in case of unwanted plants like weeds, we deliberately pour salt around the soil, around their root, so that due to this osmosis process, water will come out from the root hair cells of those weeds and of those unwanted plants, and then they will die. So both these questions will have the exact same answer. I hope this question is also clear to you. Our next question is, acid rain is harmful for the environment. To answer this, you don't even have to read your book. This is a very common topic. So this is from the chapter pollution. So why does acid rain occur? You know that whenever the pollutants from the factories or from the automobile exhaust, all these go into the atmosphere, they contain gases such as sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, etc. And when rainfall occurs, they mix with the rainwater and they form acids, which when fall on the earth's surface, they can degrade plants, they can degrade animal skin, they can also cause harm to the monuments. So acid rain is not only harmful for humans or for organisms, but also for the non-living substances. So it pollutes the soil also, damages the vegetation. The leaves will lose their natural chlorophyll. The leaves will not be able to produce the leaves will not be able to produce fruits and flowers. So the entire degradation of the life on earth occurs due to acid rain. So you can write two reasons for this, or even one reason for this, why acid rain is harmful, because the questions are all of 1 mark. So out of so many reasons, you can write any one or two. Hope this question is also clear. A very easy and simple one it is. Let's move on to the next question. All life on earth is supported by photosynthesis. So you know what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a procedure by which plants, green plants or the autotrophs, will prepare their own food with the help of carbon dioxide, water and sunlight. So why is photosynthesis said to be the supporter of all life on the earth? You know that each and every organism on the earth is directly or indirectly related to plants, because if we consider plants to be the primary source of nutrition for the herbivores, herbivores are the source of nutrition for carnivores, and omnivores can consume both the types of food, because they consume plants also, they consume animals also. So as a whole, if you consider the food chain, plants will be the first living organism which is important. So if plants do not produce food, then all the life on earth will completely go waste. It is not even possible to begin a life cycle without the presence of plants. So photosynthesis is helping to provide food to each and every organism, either directly or indirectly. So this will be the appropriate answer to the question. So these are all 1 mark answer. Don't end up writing paragraphs, just write small crystal and crisp answers and you're going to get full marks for it. Hope this question is also clear to you. A very simple question, to the point you have to write, and you can very easily get very good marks. Now let's move on to the next question. You have to match the items in column A with the most appropriate ones in column B. So in column B you have three extra words, and you have to match column A with column B. So let us begin. So cranial nerves. How many cranial nerves are there? We know that there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. So this will be the answer. Next is the Leydig cells. The Leydig cells, you know, they are present in the male reproductive tract and they are responsible for producing testosterone. Okay. Acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter which helps in transferring of impulses across the various nerves. Next are the spinal nerves. The spinal nerves are 31 pairs in number. The cranial nerves are 12 pairs and the spinal nerves are 31 pairs. Remember this, very important. And sneezing is a reflex which is present in our body, and it is a natural reflex. We don't have to undergo a series of processes to make it a habit. It is already present in our system since our birth. Okay, so these are the answers. So don't match the column like I did. Write column A in your copy, column B. So question number 1, write cranial nerves, give a dash and write the correct answer. Do it like this. Otherwise, if you do it like this, you will get 0. The examiners out there don't like such works where you are making it so clumsy and dirty. Okay, so write it in this manner, give a dash and write the correct answer near your question. Okay, let's move on to question E. Over here you have to choose the correct answer from the 4 options which are given to you. So your first question is, while recording the pulse rate, where exactly does a doctor press on our wrist? Okay, so you have seen many a times when we are sick or when we are going for a doctor visit, the doctor will check our pulse by holding our wrist, by pressing something on our wrist. So what will be the answer for this? The answer is artery, because you know that in an artery the blood flows in the form of spurts. It does not flow uniformly, because in case of an artery the lumen is very small. A very small space is available for the blood to flow. So because of which a pressure is generated, and as a result we are able to get our pulse, because whenever our heart beats, for every beat our artery will also show the vibration. So that vibration is understood by pressing our artery on the wrist. So the answer will be artery. In a human male, a sperm will contain. Okay, so you know one thing by now, that the gender of a child is actually determined by which sperm will fertilize with the ovum. Every ovum contains X chromosome only, because in case of females we have XX chromosomes, so each and every ovum will contain only X chromosome. Now there are 50% Y chromosomal sperms in case of a man, and 50% X chromosomal sperms in case of a man. So which one is going to fertilize with the ovum? It is a pure matter of chance and probability. So in case of sperms, a sperm can contain both X and Y chromosomes. So either X and Y chromosome will be the answer. So if we consider 500 chromosomes, out of 500, 250 will have X chromosome in it, and 250 will have Y chromosome in it, and whichever fertilizes with the ovum, that will determine the gender of the child. I hope it is clear. Don't write the answer as both X and Y chromosomes. You know that sperm cell is actually a sex cell, and it will have only half of the number of chromosomes, so it can have either X, either Y. Okay, our next question is, a muscular wall is absent in which case a muscular wall is absent? The answer will be capillary. In case of a venule and in case of an arteriole, we have muscular wall. I think there will be another option. Okay, whatever be it, capillary does not contain a muscular wall. This is a very direct question from the chapter circulation, so I hope you remember. Okay, our next question is, on which day of the menstrual cycle does ovulation take place? This is from the chapter reproduction. It is very nicely given in the book. The answer will be 14th day. On the 14th day, the ovulatory phase or the ovulation actually occurs. Hope it is clear. Let's move on to the next question now. Which one of the following does not affect the rate of transpiration? Light, humidity, wind, and age of the plant. Okay, very easy one. Age of the plant. It has been given in your book already, factors which affect the rate of transpiration, and also age of the plant has nothing to do with how much water it will transpire in a day, because it is not affecting neither directly nor indirectly, so it has no role in it. So this is the answer of the question number 5. Hope these answers are clear to you. Let's move on to the next question. So over here we have to identify the odd term in each of the set and name the category to which the remaining 3 belong. So over here we have an example. Let us see the example first and then let's move on. So the example is glucose, starch, cellulose and calcium, out of which the odd term is calcium because the others are types of carbohydrates. Okay, so now let us see what will be the answer for our questions. So over here we have Addison's disease, Cushing's syndrome, acromegaly and leukemia. So leukemia is the answer. It is very clearly understandable because first of all leukemia is actually blood cancer. Although it is given in your book in a very small space, maybe you don't even remember it, whatever be it, but the others you know it quite well. Addison's disease, Cushing's syndrome, acromegaly, these are all caused by hormonal problems, hormonal disorders. So these are hormonal disorders, or you can say problems of the endocrine glands. Either you can write. Okay, so this will be the answer. You have to write all others are endocrinal disorders or hormonal disorders. You can write it like that. Let's move on to the next question. Insulin, adrenaline, pepsin and thyroxine. So pepsin is the answer because the others are all hormones. Insulin, adrenaline, thyroxine, these are all hormones. So you have to write all the others are hormones. Okay. Our next question is axon, dendron, photon and cyton. So the answer will be photon. This is a question which has been repeated from I think 2014 because I gave my board examinations in 2015. So I have practiced this question. I remember it quite well. So see, in board examinations, you're not going to get very difficult questions. Many questions are repeated. So if you have been thoroughly prepared with the previous year question, you'll be able to get really good marks. So coming back to the question. So why photon is the why photon is the odd one out? Because axon, dendron, cyton, these are all parts of the nerve cell. But photon is not. So this will be the odd one out. Our next question is chickenpox, color blindness, hemophilia and albinism. So the answer will be chickenpox because chickenpox is a disease which is caused by a virus, but color blindness, hemophilia, albinism, these are all genetic disorders. These are caused by a problem in the chromosomes or maybe the problem in the sex chromosome. Okay, so chickenpox is the odd one out. The others are genetic disorders. Now our next question is polythene bag, crop residue, animal waste, decaying vegetable. So it's very easy. Polythene bag will be the answer because the others are biodegradable, but polythene is non-biodegradable. It cannot be degraded by the bacteria or the microorganisms present in the soil. So the answer will be polythene bag. So very easy questions, right? As soon as you see the question, you're able to identify the odd one out. You don't have to think much, or you don't have to study much, because like I told you before also, that in biology very easy level of questions are asked every year. So make sure that you are well prepared so that your exam goes really well. Now let's move on to the next question. Expand the following biological abbreviation. I think this is the last question. No, there's another question. Okay, expand the following biological terms. ABA. ABA is from the chapter Chemical Coordination in Plants. Then we have IAA, ATP, DNA and TSH. Okay, then let us write the answers. ABA stands for abscisic acid. ABSCISIC, abscisic acid. Make sure that you're writing the spellings correctly, because in case of biology, if you're writing a wrong spelling, you will get 0 marks for that question. So your spelling has to be correct to the point. So abscisic acid is the answer for the first question. Next is IAA. It is also known as indole acetic acid or indole 3 acetic acid. Indole 3 acetic acid. Okay, let's move on to the next question. ATP. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate. This is the type of molecule which is actually acting as the energy of adenosine triphosphate. Okay, our next question is DNA. It is also called deoxyribonucleic acid. So where do I write? Let me write it here. Deoxyribonucleic acid, full form of DNA. Now we have TSH or thyroid stimulating hormone. So, thyroid stimulating hormone. It is released by the pituitary gland, which helps in the which basically pushes the thyroid to release thyroxine. Thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyroid stimulating hormone. So make sure that you are thorough with the abbreviations, because questions can come based on that this year too. Okay, so here we finish our expansion of these biological terms. So now we have another question, our last question. This is from the chapter pollution, a pictorial question. Let us see. Identify the type of pollution. Name one pollutant that causes the above pollution. Okay, mention the impact of this pollution on human health. State one measure to control this pollution, and what is a pollutant? Explain the term. So what is this type of pollution? As you can see that it is the water body, and all the pollutants are being released into this water body. So our answer will be water pollution. Alright. So our next question is, name one pollutant that causes the above pollution. There can be a variety of examples such as detergents, sewage, domestic waste, industrial waste, hot water, oil spills. Many examples are there. You can write either. I am going to write sewage. This is the most important constituent of water pollutants. So you can write any option, any answer. There are so many answers given in the book. Now our next question is, mention the impact of this pollution on human health. So you know that our food chain is highly dependent, especially for the non-vegetarians. It is highly dependent on water because of the marine organisms like fish and all. So if we are consuming the fish which are consuming these pollutants, or maybe which are living in these polluted waters, we can understand what type of harm it can cause to us. So these water pollutants or the water pollution can indirectly affect our food chain, and it can cause a lot of diseases like typhoid, dysentery, etc. Many a times if the pollutant is very severe, it can also cause a number of genetic disorders also. Just imagine if some radioactive material has gone into our system along with the polluted water, so that can cause genetic disorders also. So you can write any of these answers whatever I told, okay, in a single line. Now, our next question is state one measure to control this pollution. What can we do? We can make stringent laws on the factories so that they treat their polluted water before releasing into the water bodies. Also, provisions must be made so that people do not wash their clothes or their animals in water bodies. So, these two can be very easily done in order to control this type of pollution. Okay. Our next question is what is a pollutant and explain the term. So very easy question. Any substance which will cause a contamination of the various factors in our environment such as the air, the water or the soil, those substances are called pollutants, and there are so many examples. Air pollutants are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, oxides of sulfur, nitrogen, etc. Water pollutants are sewage, oil spills, etc. Like I told you. Then we have soil pollution such as fertilizers, excessive use of pesticides. All these are soil pollutants. So I hope you have understood the questions which we have done today, although it was a small live session, but I hope it was quite beneficial to you. From tomorrow your board examinations are beginning, and I wish you all very uh, good luck for your examination. Give your best. You have worked hard all year and you are just going to shine. I believe you all. So do all the last minute revision and go confidently and face the examination. And once again, all the best and keep studying nicely. We are going to meet tomorrow again with the next part of biology. Until then, keep studying nicely, finish whatever is left now, and don't panic. Everything will be good. Thank you for patiently listening to me, and bye bye, everyone.